Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Merab Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Los Angeles Clippers squaring off against the Denver Nuggets tonight in a crucial Game 5 for both of these teams. A 2-2 series, the only 2-2 series in the NBA right now. The closest series so far of the first round. And honestly, probably arguably the most entertaining series so far. We saw in Game 1, it came down to overtime. It came down to crucial defensive plays by Russell Westbrook. Came down to crucial rebounding and shot making from the Denver Nuggets as they came back from 17 points down in Game 1. Game 2, it was the elite shot making of Kawhi Leonard. We remember him finishing with either 38 or 43 points. One of the two. It's a 5-point swing regardless. But he shot 15 of 19 from the field, 4 for 7 from three-point range, only missing one shot from inside the arc, only taking 5 free throws in the game. And ultimately, the Clippers winning Game 2. And honestly, what was a great game. Great game. Vintage Kawhi Leonard. It felt like I was watching the Toronto Raptors of 2019 with Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry being James Harden being Kyle Lowry from back in the day. This Clippers team is absolutely formidable. That's just Game 1s and Game 2. Game 3 is the only blowout performance that really kind of gave the edge to the Clippers because they dominated the Denver Nuggets in LA. Nothing short of domination in that one. And honestly, if the Clippers win Game 5, I think the series is probably over, but we're going to get into that a little bit later in this segment. Game 3 obviously being I think it was a almost 30-point disparity. It was 117-83 was the final score. 34-point disparity. Just had to quick maths. But overall, and then Game 4 obviously being the stellar Aaron Gordon putback dunk that had it ruffled a lot of people's feathers because, his fingers are still on the ball when he's dunking it. When the buzzer sounds, the ball is literally 4/5 of the way down into the hoop. You had to call it. If you overturn that call because his fingertips were still on the ball, barely on the ball as the ball went through the net, that there's no rule. That is one of those great. How do you even rule that? If you ruled that in favor of the Clippers and said it was over the clock, it was the buzzer sounded before he let go of the ball. By rule, I guess, if you want to go by textbook, but I was fine with the refs letting that one go. I would have been shocked if they hadn't. Plain and simple. So, that lands us at a 2-2 series now. The Nuggets really stealing Game 4. The Clippers coming back from 22 points down in that one and missing it by the skin of their teeth in Game 4. They took Denver's best shot in Game 4, responded unbelievably, and it took what I like to call in the NBA a super, honestly, do we want to call it a premier moment or do I really want to call it a bailout play? Because I think that's unfair to the Nuggets, so that's why I didn't say that immediately. I think it was just a superhuman play by Aaron Gordon. His rebounding has been unbelievable this series, and it's been a major reason why the Nuggets have had so much success in this series. It's been the rebounding of the Denver Nuggets in general, with Aaron Gordon, with Jokic, with Michael Porter Jr., who's been an underrated rebounder in this series. So, in one of the games, I believe it was Game 2, he had... Game 2? It was either Game 2 or Game 1. He had 15 points and 15 rebounds and was a major reason why they won the game. So, this Denver Nuggets team is obviously still formidable. They still have the best player in the league. They still have Jamal Murray. They still have Michael Porter Jr., who's continuing to grow into a great two-way player in the league. They still have Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. If they utilize him, there have been moments where you're just sitting there and you're like, come on, Russ, you have to make a shot like that. You have to make this shot. You have to make that shot. But his defensive prowess, his intensity, his his nature as an energizer bunny for this Denver Nuggets team is a vital factor, and that's why they keep him on the court. That's why they give him the minutes that he gets, and being able to lead that second unit off the bench to start the game, and then ultimately as the game draws on, based on matchups, based on how the game's going. If you need a defensive guy, you put in a Russell Westbrook over a Jamal Murray. If you need more of an more offensive standpoint, you put in Jamal Murray over Russ. Overall, this Nuggets team is still great. We're not counting them out. I'm not counting them out. No way. But I think if the Nuggets or if the Clippers go into Denver tonight and they pull off that win, going back to LA up 3-2, it's going to need to be a stellar performance from Jokic in Game 5. The Nuggets need to show me something. If they can keep it close and they show me something else that shows, whether it was like it's similar to fashion to Game 4 when the Clippers are up big, Nuggets come back, and the Clippers hit a big shot that ultimately wins the game. If it's a fashion like that, okay, I'll hold off on saying, oh, the Clippers are going to win Game 6. But if they win Game 6 like they won in Game 3 or Game 2, if they let Kawhi Leonard go off, if they let James Harden have a 30-point game, if they let Norman Powell continue, if Norman Powell plays at a high level, if Norman Powell plays like Brandon Pajimski did last night in Game 4, it's going to take. I don't know if I can count. I don't know if I can bet. If I can't pick I have to pick the Clippers. I have to say the Clippers winning Game 6. I have to. As much as I say Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league, we have seen since Mike Malone has been fired, we have seen that his numbers have taken a dip, and I took a peek at that on Friday before previewing Game 3 of this series. I'm trying to think back, honestly. Jokic finishing with 36 points. That's the most points he's scored since. This was probably game 4 of the series. Is probably the most Jokic-esque performance we've seen from Nikola since Mike Malone was fired. We haven't really seen him score over 30-plus points in a game. I believe he only scored 30-plus in one game since Mike Malone has been fired. Outside of this is number 2 now. But to score 36, 21 rebounds, 8 assists, that's more Jokic-esque numbers that we know him to have. That's the MVP candidate that we saw all regular season this year. And that's the level we know he plays at come playoff time, especially when he's going up against a guy like an Ivica Zubac that we know he eats up for lunch in terms of how his footwork, his fall-away jumper. I think it's honestly his footwork more than anything. His footwork is up on par with anybody's, probably in NBA history. So, and it's easily the best footwork in the NBA from a big man. From a big man's perspective, outside of maybe if you want to say Anthony Davis with his footwork and his shooting. But what puts Jokic over Anthony Davis is his how physical and how much bigger he is than Anthony Davis. So, yep, that's just what I think. I think Jokic is going to need to have another monster game if the Nuggets are going to have a chance in this one. Jamal Murray needs to have a better game than he did in Game 4. 13 points, 13, 7, and 7 isn't bad, but when you have Michael Porter Jr. going off for 17, you have Christian Braun going off for 17, Aaron Gordon having 14 points. I still think Aaron Gordon can be an X factor in this series. We haven't really seen the 25-point Aaron Gordon performance. Shooting performance from 3-point range, we probably have that coming down the pipe. Whether it's in this Game 5 tonight, that would be a massive time to come up if it's for Aaron Gordon. Continuing being the X factor that I've seen him be. We've seen him be in NBA playoffs. We've seen it in the NBA finals. If he can be that gives the Nuggets an extra jump, and I think then if that happens, then the Nuggets win Game 5. I don't think if Aaron Gordon has a 25-point game or 20-plus point game and Jokic has a stellar performance like he did in Game 4, Jamal Murray has 17, 18 points, and the rest of the team continues to perform like they have, I don't think this Nugget, that's the Nuggets at their best, plain and simple. But I don't know who to pick. I don't think I could pick anybody in this game. It's literally a 50-50 coin toss. There is no momentum. It's at home in Denver, so I guess Denver has a little bit of an edge. But you have Kawhi Leonard, who's an NBA champion, who's been to multiple championships. He's been in the league. He's a seasoned veteran. He's been in the league on the big stage since he was a baby when he won the NBA Finals MVP back in 2014. We haven't seen him perform at a high level in the we haven't really seen him in the playoffs since 2020 outside of this year. But we still have to go at it with a clean slate. We have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he deserves that with how he's played in the regular season so far. If he reverts back to 2020 Kawhi Leonard, that's a different story now. And we'll have a different conversation probably tomorrow when we're recapping this game. But let's hold off. Let's give Kawhi Leonard some space. Give him the benefit of the doubt because he deserves it, I'd say. Let's give him a chance to prove his worth as a player, to prove his strength, his expertise, his experience. So 50-50 coin toss. I really think it's anybody's game, regardless of it being in Denver, regardless of it being in LA. This is a game 5. This is a 2-2 series, best of 3. Basically, it's a 0-0 series right now. Doesn't matter what happened in the first 4 games. It is a best of 3 now. Whoever wins 2 games first wins this. Whoever wins 2 out of the next 3 wins the series. And I still think this series can possibly go 7, but we'll see how it all transpires. It's probably going to be the must-watch. It deserves the title of biggest game of the first. It's the biggest game of the NBA playoffs so far. Absolutely, nothing comes close. So, yeah, that the biggest game of the first round, tipping off at 10 p.m. tonight. So, must-watch TV. I would highly recommend watching it. And if you don't, no worries. We're going to recap it more tomorrow. Absolutely, I promise. It is going to be one of the first segments of our show tomorrow. No questions asked. But I'm going to take one last short break. When we come back, we're going to preview the other games of the night because the NBA is absolutely spoiling us tonight with 4 first-round matchups tonight. All of them, the other ones outside of this one being 3-1 leads for 3-1 matchups. So that's why I haven't really talked about it as much. But we're going to get into all 3 of those series, see who's going to close their series, who's going to push, who's going to force a game 6. We'll get into everything and anything and talk a little bit about what's going on in the NBA and for those 3 series. Don't go anywhere.